First up, with our picture frame, I've removed the glass from here, so we're just left with the frame. I've given it a wipe down, it's nice and clean, and then I'm just going to mask off. This one's actually got a nice little fabric bit inside the frame here, and I want to keep that, but I want to paint it. I want it to be a different colour. So I'm going to mask off with my masking tape just over the fabric to keep it neat. Once you've masked off your frame neatly, get your paint. Now, I recommend using a chalk paint because it dries very quickly and it's very easy to use. I'm going to be using a blue paint and a white paint. And the reason I'm using two colours is what I want to achieve is a distressed look. So I'm going to paint white first of all, a layer of white. I'm going to let that dry completely and then I'm going to paint over it with this darker blue colour. When it's totally dry, I'm going to sand it back and reveal the white coming through and make it look like it's really old. Lots of nice light layers. We don't want to go crazy and do a thick layer. We very lightly paint it on like that. Okay, it is just a base layer, so don't worry about total coverage. My layer of white paint is now nicely dry. Okay, you do have to wait for it to dry 100%. Otherwise, when you go on with the next colour, you kind of take it off and mix it all together, and we don't want to do that. Again, not too much paint on your brush. You don't want to go crazy. You just, again, want a nice light layer of the paint. The second layer of paint is completely dry and I've got my sandpaper. I would use a medium grit sandpaper for this. And what I've been doing, I don't know if you can see here, but I have just been sanding over the detail, the raised bevel bits of the frame, and sanding back to reveal the white paint underneath it and sometimes the bit of gold. Remember there was a gold bit that went around the outside of the frame. So I'm just sanding that back to reveal those, and the white and the gold are coming through and giving it that aged kind of look. It's making it look a bit vintage, which is exactly the look that I want for my pegboard. Okay, so we're still keeping, the main part of the mirror will still be the lovely blue, but we're just taking it off around the edges and giving it that little bit of detail. And now I'm ready to wax. Waxing is a really important part of the whole process because we want to seal that colour in and protect it, protect your hard work. Okay, so I'm going to open my wax. I'm using a clear wax and I'm going to use a wax brush. You can use an old cloth and you're just going to put the wax on the brush and paint it onto your frame. See, just little strokes, not too much wax. I've now got my old bit of rag, bit of cotton, and I'm just going to rub off any excess wax. So I've got some string here and some tiny weeny little pegs. And what I'm going to do is measure the string so that it fits across the back of my frame and cut it to fit. You want it to be quite tight because if you do it too saggy, then once you put the pegs on and your little notes, it will all droop down and become too heavy. So make sure, so I think it needs to be about that long. Got it with my finger. So be careful, you don't get your fingers, and just put it, I would say across the string would be the best way to do it. Just make sure you're not doing it too close to the top of the frame as well. So, one in, nice and tight. You can always go back and do a second one to secure it. And then we're just going to, and you've got your nice taut string, and you're going to staple those all the way down, and then you can attach your pegs on. This makes a perfect Christmas gift. So you could give it to somebody and they could display their holiday photos or family photos on, or make it for yourself to display all those Christmas cards you're going to get this year.